Annual report and audited financial statements, and this is for the financial year 2020 and 2021. The chairperson standing committee on matters roads and transportation will be making statement on the activities of the committee, and this statement is pursuant to standing orders number 51 subsection 1B. The Senate Majority Leader will be issuing a statement on the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday 7th. The year is 2022, and this is pursuant to the Standing Orders number 52 subsection 1. Upon the rise of the House this evening, the Senate will be proceeding on recess and resume on Tuesday 7th, 2022. Under the Committee of the Whole, the Senate will be considering a couple of bills. And just to mention a few is the County Allocation Revenue Bill, the Elections Amendment Bill number 3, Bill number 48 of the year 2021 by the Senator for Nyeri County, Senator Ephraim Maina. Under the Committee of the Whole, the Kenya Medical Supplies Authorities Amendment Bill is also another bill that is set to be considered under the Committee of the Whole. And this particular bill is by nominated Senator Naomi Shionga. The Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Ken Lusaka, is in the building, or is in the house. I'm now handing you a follow up on the live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing.
Let us pray.
Good afternoon.
Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of a visiting delegation from the Embassy of China. The delegation consists of young diplomats attached to the Embassy of China in Nairobi who are in the Senate on a one-day visit. Honorable Senators, the delegation is led by First Secretary Zhang Weiji, accompanied by Second Secretary, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Third Secretaries and Attachés. I request the delegation to stand so that you may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. Honorable Senators, I would also like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting history students from Acacia Crest Senior School from Kajiado County. Honorable Senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I welcome the students to the Senate and wish them well for the remainder of the visit. I thank you. I have another communication to make before I allow members to join me in welcoming the visitors. As you are aware, the National Prayer Breakfast is an annual event in the calendar of Parliament. It is an interdenominational prayer meeting sponsored by members of Parliament, Senate, and the National Assembly. This year's National Prayer Breakfast is scheduled to be held on Thursday, 26 May 2022 from 7 a.m. at the Safari Park Hotel in Nairobi, and the theme is Transitions. The event is being coordinated by the National Organizing Committee, which has been working closely with the Kenya National Prayer Breakfast Coordination Team. The Organizing Committee is co-chaired by Senator Samuel Bogisho MP, the Senate Minority Leader, and Honorable Daniel Manzo, MP of the National Assembly. Honorable Senators, this is a critical event, noting that this is an election year, thus the need to pray for our country during this period. I therefore urge all the senators to prioritize and attend the prayer breakfast. All the requisite arrangements have been made to make the event a success. I believe that you have all received an invitation card to the event. Feel free to contact the office of the clerk for any further information or support on this matter. I thank you. Senator George Haniri.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. I actually rise up to join you in welcoming our visitors from China and the students from Acacia. Mr. Speaker, yesterday we had a delegation also from the United States of America. And so that I don't sound like I'm apologetic for Parliament, but it's important to let the visitors know, because, you know, Senate is looking very empty, the seats are empty. This is not very usual. We are in an electioneering period. Most members are out of town trying to defend their seats, and others trying to become governors. So it is important that our visitors should not go with this bad reputation that Senate lacks quorum. That is the explanation. But I want to join you in welcoming them to Senate, and particularly the students, to tell them that Senate of the Republic of Kenya is a very good place to come and learn parliamentary practices. We have the best practices as a house, and therefore we hope that you will learn as history students. You will leave here with more knowledge than you arrived. For our friends from China, I'm happy to say that our country has enjoyed very good diplomatic relationship with China over the years. We are grateful for that. So we've partnered in so many development projects by Chinese companies and state corporations. So we are happy with the relationship that we have with you, and we hope that you as young diplomats, as you become the real diplomats, you should be able to enhance the good relationship that the two countries have enjoyed. Welcome. We wish you a good stay in Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Halake Abshiro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also join you and my fellow senators in welcoming the delegation from the Chinese Embassy to the Senate, and to wish them all the very best as they take care of the bilateral relationships between Kenya and China, which so far is a very good partnership, given that the Chinese government and the Kenyan government have been working very well together. And I think especially now that the expressway has been opened, we will always be grateful for the great things that are happening here. I know that there's also the fact that this House has been a friend of the embassy. I remember at the beginning of the 12th Parliament, you invited me to be part of the delegation that was visiting your office with the Communist Party. So welcome to the Senate, and we hope that, as my colleague has said, this is electioneering period, but the people that are here and some online will definitely welcome you. I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome
our students from Acacia Senior School, welcome to the Senate. As you sit here, we are very proud to have you, especially you are coming from a pastoralist area, and I also come from a pastoralist area, so I'm happy to see that we are not just staying in the Bundus, we're also coming to the city to see for ourselves that if we from these areas can come and sit here in this house, you can also work hard and come and be here. So welcome to the Senate, and we look forward to having you in these seats and not just in the gallery. Karibuni sana.
Senator Iman Gertrude Musurube.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I join you together with my fellow senators as well in welcoming the visitors we have in the House. The delegation from the Embassy of China, welcome to the House. And the relationship between Kenya and China is very visible. In terms of education, we have quite a number of our students going to China to get knowledge, and when they come back here, they're able to be productive in executing, the tasks that help in development. And also, when it comes to roads and housing, China comes out strongly to partner with our country, and this is a plus. So welcome in this House that actually allocates funds for the purpose of ensuring that economic development is going on. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, also to welcome the students from Acacia in this House. As I look at the students, Honorable Speaker, I see faces that are anxious to face tomorrow, faces that are ready to lead. I can see lawyers there sitting before us. I can see magistrates. I can see lecturers. I can see all people of all walks of life. And through you, Honorable Speaker, I would like to encourage the students from Acacia to work very hard because while in school, it is an opportunity that never repeats itself. And this is the time every one of you has time to decide his destiny, and education is an equalizer that actually helps people from different backgrounds to improve their socioeconomic status as individuals and also give back to the society. So welcome, students. This is also an eye-opener, and I would like to tell you, students, that this is a very powerful house that is engaged in legislation. The laws that help wananchi be better are made in this House, and the Senate is concerned about the counties, and you will see from the nature of our debates and how we conduct our activities, you will realize that we are very keen on legislating on issues that support the counties. Honorable Speaker, allow me also to comment on the prayer breakfast that you have just mentioned, that we are getting into an electioneering period, and this is an issue we cannot take for granted. So I support the Speaker that when it comes to prayers, every one of us as Kenyans need to really commit the issue of electioneering and to God, because at the end of the day, God has to intervene and ensure that our country is intact, despite the fact that we are getting into elections. So I call upon all Kenyans to pray about our leaders, to pray about us, to pray about our country, because we love this country and we do not have any other country to go to. Kenya is bigger than any one of us. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity.
Senator Nderitu John Kinyua.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuungana na wewe kuwakaribisha marafiki zetu kutoka nchi ya Uchina na vile vile wanafunzi wa kutoka katika shule ya Acacia. Na Bwana Spika, ningependa kuambia wanafunzi na walimu waliotoka katika shule ya Acacia ya kwamba si kawaida katika vikao vyetu vya hapa seneti kuwa wachache hivi, lakini kisa na maana ama sababu ni kwa sababu maseneta wengi na wanafunzi wanajua na walimu wanajua ya kwamba tuko katika msimu wa siasa. Kwa hivyo si kawaida, na najua mmekuja muweze kusoma mengi yanayotendeka katika seneti. Pengine ikiwezekana mrudi tena wakati ambapo msimu wa siasa utakuwa umekwisha, ndio muweze kusoma mengi mapana na marefu, ndio muweze kuelewa vile mambo yanavyotekelezwa hapa katika Seneti. Na vile vile ningependa kuambia ninyi wenyewe ni wape changamoto, kwa sababu leo sisi ndio tuko hapa, lakini nyinyi kwa sababu mkitilia masomo mbele, kwa sababu unasemekana masomo ndio uti wa mgongo wa maendeleo katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Nyinyi tunajua nyinyi ndio viongozi wa kesho, kwa hivyo muige yale mazuri ambayo mtakayoona viongozi wakiyafanya, na nyinyi ndio tunaangalia, kwa sababu katika maendeleo yote katika nchi, wanafunzi nyinyi ndio mnaoangaliwa, kwa sababu masomo muweke mbele, na yale ambayo maneno yanayofanywa katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, nyinyi ndio mtakaoendesha maendeleo mbele. Kwa hivyo walimu niwaambie ni vizuri, na wanafunzi vile vile niseme ya kwamba mkija mambo ambayo mnakuja kusoma hapa, myatilie mkazo na muendelee kufanya hayo. Na niseme Bwana Spika, tena nirudie niseme ni siku ambayo ni ya hofu kidogo wao kuja wakati hatuyuko jumba limejaa, na muweze kusikiza vile mazungumzo yanavyofanywa hapa katika Seneti. Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii.
Senator Masinza Naomi Shionga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to join you in welcoming our visitors today, especially the visitors from China who have joined us today. And it's a great pleasure that we have the visitors outside the country. You know, the bilateral engagement that we have between China and Kenya is of great magnitude, especially when it comes to economically, infrastructure, and even technologically. We really appreciate you, and it is good that you have come so that you can see. Just as my colleagues have said, this house is always full, but because we are making sure that we come back in this house and continue with the legislative mandate that we have, and just a few days to come, we are going to the ballot box. So many are on the grassroots trying to look for how best they can convert their vote. So we are full this house, and we are representative of people, and that's why we are. But still, I want to say welcome to the Republic of Kenya, and we welcome you more. And when you go back there, take our greetings to your people. When it comes to the student of Acacia Crest Senior School, I want to really appreciate, and I'm seeing some teachers there, I really want to appreciate your presence here. This is a place that anyone in Kenya would admire to be, both women and men, because when we are making laws, laws are made in this house, policies are made in this house, acts are made in this house, those that can take control of our country legislatively. So I want to wish you that what we do here, I want to wish that each and everyone have admirance of being here, coming here after your education, and you can even further your education when you are here, because this doesn't make ends when you come here. More admire to be here, because you need to be part and parcel of what happens in your country and your future. I want just to thank you and say that both the groups that have joined us in the gallery, please, you are most welcome on behalf of Kenya. And as the Speaker has said, thank you very much for coming, and welcome again and again. God bless you all, and have a safe journey back home.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Honorable Senators, this passage of the Health Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 2 of 2021, I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order number 41, 3 and 4, I have received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the passage of the Health Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 2 of 2021. Pursuant to the standing orders, I now report the message, and I quote, pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order number 41.1 and 142 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I hereby convey the following message from the National Assembly. Whereas Health Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 2 of 2021 was published via Kenya Gazette Supplement number 8 of 1 February 2021 as a bill concerning county governments in terms of Article 110(4) of the Constitution seeking to amend the Health Act number 21 of 2017, in particular, provisions relating to the Pharmacy and Poisons Act Cap 244, the Mental Health Act Cap 248, the Mental Practitioners and Dentists Act Cap 253, and Nurses Act Cap 257, the Kenya Medical Training College Act Cap 261, the National Hospital Insurance Fund Act number 9 of 1998, the Medical Laboratory Technician and Technologies Act number 10 of 1999, the Tobacco Control Act number 4 of 2007, Control Act number 15 of 2012, the Public Health Officers Training, Registration and Licensing Act of 2013, number 12 of 2013, the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority Act number 20 of 2013, the Counselors and Psychologists Act number 14 of 2014, the Physiotherapists Act number 2014, the Health Record and Information Managers Act number 15 of 2016, and the Clinical Officers Training, Registration and Licensing Act number 20 of 2017. And whereas the National Assembly considered the said bill on Wednesday, 30th March 2022 and passed it on Thursday, 31st March with amendments in the form attached hereto, now therefore in accordance with the provisions of Article 110(4) of the Constitution and Standing Orders 41 and 142 of the National Assembly, Standing Order 1, I hereby convey the National Assembly's decision on the bill to the Senate. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Orders number 157, which requires that a bill originating in the National Assembly be proceeded with by the Senate in the same manner as bill introduced in the same Senate by way of first reading in accordance with the Standing Order number 139. In this regard, the Health Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2021 will be read a first time at the next sitting of the Senate. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Senator Shionga, Chair Cohesion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following petition report on the table of the Senate today, 19th May 2022. Report of the Standing Committee on the National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration on the petition to the Senate concerning the continuous exclusion of persons with disabilities, BWDs, in Migori County budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. You want to make some comments? Okay, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I've just discovered I've forgotten my glasses, and but I'll continue.
Okay. I hope you will see.
Yeah.
And read correctly.
And I'll read correctly.
Okay.
That's what I beg. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would wish to make the following comments pursuant to the provision of the Standing Order 232 of the Senate Standing Order, and a number of comments were laid in regard to this petition. Honorable Speaker, the petition was presented by the Senator of Migori County, Senator Dr. Ajila Ayako, MP, on behalf of the petitioners and tabled on the floor of the House on the 21st October 2021, and stood committed to the committee pursuant to the Standing Order 232, is it 252.1 of the Senate Standing Committee. Honorable Speaker, the petition drew the attention of the Senate on the following. The Article 51(1)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provide for the rights of persons with disabilities. 2, the persons with disabilities are entitled to reasonable access to education institution and families for the persons with disabilities integrated in the society to the extent compelled with the interests of the persons. 3, in Article 10(2)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 recognize human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusivity, equity, human rights, and non-discrimination and protection of the marginalized in the public service and governance. Mr. Speaker, whereas the Article 58 provide that the state shall put in place measures to ensure affirmative action program designed to ensure minority and marginalized groups participate in the representation in governance and other spheres of life, and Article 185 vast legislative authority and oversight functions of the county to the county assembly. That the county government of Migori in the development plan county 2018-2022 outlined to develop socio-economic program geared toward programs in the county and development agenda promotion of the gender and disability. The budget approved since the financial year 2013-2014 to date has not provided for a specific budget lines to demonstrate substantial efforts by the county government in implementing disability mainstreaming programs. This exclusion has exposed the persons with disabilities to a low level of living standards and reasons serious negative economic impact by the county government of Migori. Mr. Speaker, we realize that among the strategic identified to facilitate the achievement of the socio-economic pillar were developing gender mainstreaming program to improve access to social protection funds for the vulnerable groups, established and increase access to women and persons with disabilities funds. The efforts to have this matter addressed with the relevant national and county government agencies have not produced any positive results despite the continuous follow-ups. Mr. Speaker, the matter in the petition is not pending before the court of law or order or other constitutional or legal body. Honorable Speaker, the petitioners prayed that the Senate investigate the matter to ensure that the issues raised in the petition and provide appropriate measure to resolve the matter. 2, in their prayer, it was that it recommends the creation and inclusion of social protection programs for persons with disabilities in the county, and 3, that it makes any other recommendation that it deems fit to the circumstances of the matter. Following the tabling of this petition in line with the Senate Standing Order number 252-2, the Speaker directed that the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration to investigate the matter and table the report to the House within 60 calendar days. The committee was, however, not able to conclude within the stipulated time due to some unseen challenges, especially COVID pandemic. Honorable Speaker, the committee received submissions from the Migori County people and the Disability Development Forum during the visit to Migori that the committee met, that is Migori County, and its executive the executive Migori County Assembly, and met the member of the County Assembly to deliberate on the petition. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommended that 1, the county government of Migori should make deliberate and strategic efforts in the socio-economic development and mainstreaming of the social interest groups, fundamental rights among the PWP as enshrined in the Constitution and in Article 10, 54, 55, 56, 57, and other relevant legislative among them persons with disability. 2, the county government should ensure programs meant for the PWT are funded in the budget effectively, and efforts should also be made to ensure that the government structures are put in place to prevent the misuse of or corruption in the fund manage the capacity building for PWDs, and is also necessary to ensure there should be implementation of and that are stipulated in the payment of these funds. Mr. Speaker, I might not go all throughout to read all the recommendation, but because we have the report tabled before this House, the committee made efforts to make sure that the county government of Migori should establish and prioritize the Disability Mainstreaming Committee with the representation of BWD. Additionally, should allocate funds that will cater for these persons because it is enshrined into the Constitution. And within the 30 days of their budget, they should consider all that we recommended as a committee that is led by my team and is led by me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The rest is found in the report for any person who is interested, but I beg to, it is our report, Senator Jarrike, it's our report. So I wish to lay the report on the table. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Maybe, Mr. Speaker, if you can allow more, because my eyes are gone, but I've struggled here. I forgot my eyes at home.
So what do you want me to allow you to do?
You allow my members. I have members of the committee in this House. You allow members of this the members of this committee, the National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity Committee, to comment on the same, because we all shared the trip, we all shared the comments pertaining this petition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You have done very well so far.
Thank you.
Let me see the interest here. Senator Haraki, I don't know that she's your member, but she's shown interest, Senator Harake.
Thank you very much,
Yours.
Mr. Speaker. I'm not her member, but I wish to congratulate her on a good, comprehensive report, and I'm encouraged that we are getting reports back in the House, because sometimes we have brought a lot of petitions, and so it's a good sign that we're getting reports back. So congratulations, Madam Chair, and your members. Mr. Speaker, the issue of exclusion of our PWDs and other marginalized group is such a big deal that this House, I'm glad, took it seriously enough to complete it before the end of the 12th Parliament, because really on the campaign trail this weekend, I was meeting with somebody that is disabled, and one of the things they said is that my county had for counties, I don't know, there's a percentage of budget that should be allocated to people with disabilities in the counties, but that laws do not exist for that amount to be dispensed to the people with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, our members of county assemblies, who are the legislative arm and at the primary level, at the devolved units, have a responsibility to ensure that everybody in the county is budgeted for, and that the budgets, the policies, and the legislation is actually responsive to everybody in the counties, especially those vulnerable groups. The legislation for those vulnerable groups should even be prioritized more than just any other legislation, Mr. Speaker. So I was told that in my county there's 8 million, and I don't know if it's the same for all counties, because this is very fresh. Mr. Mugo, who is a PWD in my county, came to me and said, Madam Senator, we in the last 5 years have not been able to attend any of the Paralympics or any of the I don't know if is it called Paralympics? Yes, because we now are reduced to begging. And that is wrong, because if the country has given money to the devolved units, and if these resources this House has made sure has gone down to the devolved units, how is it that then we condemn our people living with disabilities to the indignity of begging? Yet there's a budget. So when people are given money, but then are reduced to begging from maybe the MPs or from well-wishers or from business people, what are we saying? We're denying our people the dignity to be served by the state, especially those vulnerable groups. And how much is 8 million? So I was very surprised, Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Mugo would come to me and say, in the last 5 years, actually, of course, devolution is now 10 years, in the last close to 10 years, not a single law has been put in place at the devolved unit, and therefore no resources can be given to our people living with disabilities. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sorry, you know this, I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, you know we just got our first deputy president of the Republic, who is a woman, so now we're a bit on a high, and please forgive me, I don't mean any
What is your point of order, Senator Cherargei?
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for my good sister, Senator Lake, to go on record and answer to say that we have first female deputy president, yet we know the occupant of that office as of now is a man by the name of Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto? Is it in order she should withdraw and indicate who that person is, because we don't have a female deputy president in Kenya?
Mr. Speaker, that is not to mean that is not to belittle our sitting deputy president. But I was just fast forwarding a bit. In 2 months, let me just correct myself, in 2 months this country will have a female deputy president, and therefore I am a bit ahead of myself. That's what I meant, that in 2 months, or in less than 2 months actually. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There is another intervention from Senator Shionga.
Oh, come on.
Madam Speaker, as much as I support my fellow senator, we always predict and wish for the best, and we want women actually to occupy this. But in 2 months, I know we have very many, and when I was seeing the list of those who are standing as independent who wants presidential or whatever. There are so many. So let us hope for the best for ours, for the one that we know. We don't want to preempt, but again, we align ourselves to saying, let the will of God be done.
There is another intervention from Senator Nderitu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am very clear in my mind where Senator Halake belongs. She's in Kano. And the last time I checked, Madam Speaker, because I want clarity from her, Mr. Speaker, I wanted clarity from her, which Deputy Speaker she's talking about in 2 months. Because I am
Deputy President.
Deputy President she's talking about. Because I know her party leader, because I know she belongs in Kano, and her party leader is defending the seat of Senate. So I don't know which he's talking about, but I'm very clear for Kenya Kwanza is Rigathi Gachagua, and he's going to be the Deputy President in the next 2 months.
Okay, I want to bring that matter to a close, because I think we are diverting from our main focus. Senator Halake.
Mr. Speaker, I may have a right of reply, but I'll let that pass because I don't want to be in trouble because you've rested that case. But Mr. Speaker, therefore, reverting back to the petition and the content of it, I support and I am thankful to the team for the good job. And as I said, as Mr. Mugo spoke to me on the campaign trail, he said, Madam, just 8 million shillings that was supposed to help us go for games, we keep borrowing and begging from others because there are no laws in place. So it's an appeal to our members of the county assembly. Please, please ensure that the most vulnerable in our communities, the laws, because we as legislators, both at the national and devolved unit, should be taking our legislative role very seriously. To be told that in the last 9 or 10 years of devolution, not a single law is in place in some of our counties for them to be able to then dispense a budget, which then excludes the people with disabilities, and not just the people with disabilities, all other vulnerable groups, be it women, be it young people, be it. And so, Mr. Speaker, really, as much as we think that devolution is working, devolution must work for everybody, not just the able-bodied, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to Mr. Mugo, to Uncle Abdullahi and the rest of them that are living with disabilities, I'd like to assure them that when we come back to this house, some of us will be going to the lower house, but when we come back to this house, Mr. Speaker, those of you that are coming here, please make sure, as the House that under Article 96 is mandated to protect counties and their government. And the protection of county is not just the government alone, it's the protection of the people living in those counties. And therefore, please make sure this House makes laws that will include and ensure that our people living with disabilities and other vulnerable groups are going to have a legislative framework that will allow these budgets to go to the people that need them most. Mr. Speaker, my bill in human dignity and preservation of human dignity and socioeconomic rights was speaking to precisely that. The provisions of under Article 43. Unfortunately, from the way things are going, Mr. Speaker, and I hope you'll see it to yourself to make sure that the bills that have been passed and are just awaiting division see light of day before we go home in a few days, I guess, please, because these are some of the legislative frameworks which could then be cascaded down to the counties to ensure that these kinds of things that are excluding our people do not happen, Mr. Speaker. I thank you for giving me the opportunity. I support this and look forward to the implementation of some of the recommendations of the committee. Thank you.
Senator Musuruve.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. And I start by congratulating my able chair, Senator Shionga, for presenting the petition. Indeed, we went to Migori and met the petitioners, we met the executive, and we had a very lengthy discussion, Honorable Speaker. But what was coming out very clearly is that there was a big gap between the executive and PWD inclusion. Now that gap needs to be filled, Honorable Speaker, because you saw that the petitioners were justified in bringing the issue to our attention simply because of the lack of exclusion. And Honorable Speaker, just as Senator Halake has said rightly, that when no one should be excluded when we are talking of devolution. It is unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that the county government of Migori has not really included PWDs in their budget, and this should be something that should also be done across the board in the 47 counties, Honorable Speaker, because when it comes to allocating monies, we allocate monies to go to the counties with the reason so that there is service delivery in the counties, Honorable Speaker. And when it comes to Migori, Migori has not, just like many other counties, have not been able to identify, tap, and utilize the talents that persons with disabilities have, Honorable Speaker. Because at county level, that is when they can be identified. That is when even players can be identified who have disabilities, and they bring a lot of glory in this country. And I want to commend the Honorable Speaker. I take this opportunity to commend the national government for what it's doing with regard to persons with disabilities. And I want to commend what the CS, Dr. Amina, is doing. She's doing a very commendable job when it comes to PWD inclusion in games, because when it comes to international games, they're able to go for games, they're prepared, and they come back with medals, they bring us glory, they come back with gold, and this is something that we should encourage, because not all PWDs can go the academic way, but those who are gifted and talented in games, they should be allowed from the county level. And Honorable Speaker, I remember very well, even at county level, when I was doing the Msuruve tournament, PWDs were actually involved. I involved them, and they came and played football in their crutches. There are even PWDs who even play sitting volleyball and many other games. So there is need for PWDs to be involved in sporting activities right away from the county level, and then when they go to national level, internationally, they can give us glory, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that when it comes to PWDs, I witness internationally that in some countries, PWDs are, when it comes to sports, it's actually a career, and they're able to make a living from there. And you could see that some of these players, the moves they make in volleyball, the moves they make in basketball, the moves they make show that they have not just been sitting at home. Money has been allocated, and they are training. And so the sporting should be a win-win situation for PWDs at county level, and all county budgets should actually include PWDs. Honorable Speaker, even as we talk about persons with disabilities, we must know that we have to look at persons with disabilities from a rights perspective. The persons with disabilities have a right, just like anybody else. They have a right to education. So even those who are doing well at county level should be identified very quickly and even help so that they make it academically. Honorable Speaker, I have seen quite a number of persons with disabilities who have gotten support and eventually they become lawyers. We have quite a number of lawyers who are visually impaired, and they're doing very well, Honorable Speaker. We have also human resource personnel who are also visually impaired, and we also have persons with disabilities also, Honorable Speaker, who work with crutches, wheelchairs, and they're doing well. So the point I'm trying to really emphasize is that county governments should ensure that they include PWDs in all activities in the county, so that there's service delivery as per Article 43 of this Constitution for persons with disabilities. And Honorable Speaker, even as you're talking about persons with disabilities, allow me to comment what I saw, and my able chair is here. She'll agree with me that persons with disabilities and do not have an advisory body that informs the executive. Many times you'll find that the executives may not know much about issues of disability. And so when it comes to dealing with issues of disability, they don't know how to go about it. They do not have anyone to advise them. And that is how mainstreaming is not done in most of these counties. So there's need to have an advisory body in all the counties that inform the executives on the needs basis. Because persons with disabilities need to be looked at on a needs basis, Honorable Speaker, because every person with a disability has his own needs, and so identifying and ensuring that the needs are met will help persons with disabilities become economically productive in this country. Honorable Speaker, I support the petition, and I hope also that the recommendations that were made by the committee where I sit and where my Senator Shionga is our chair will actually be met, and the recommendations will be adhered to in order to ensure that persons with disabilities live rightly just like anybody else, and that they are not seen from a pity paradigm but from a human rights perspective. Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Senator Chararge Samson.
Mike. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to start. I had seen our visitors, but unfortunately they have left. Allow me, Speaker, to congratulate my chair and Mr. Speaker, to say since I was moved to the Committee of National Integration and Equal Cohesion, you can see the energy, the zeal and the passion that we have injected with our committee led by our able chair, Senator Naomi Shionga. And I wish her well as she wants to join our sister Parliament, that's National Assembly, as a women representative of my neighboring county, Kakamega. And we wish her well. There are two things, Mr. Speaker, so I've seen the reports. I'm happy we did a very comprehensive report and very serious and earthquake recommendations, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to run through, and I appreciate, Mr. Speaker, if we had, and I hope in the next Senate we must have what we call implementation committee to follow up on the resolutions, Mr. Speaker, because there are many reports, there are many proposals, there are many we have adopted as a house, but because we don't have a tracker or something like implementation committee, Mr. Speaker, maybe you will write as your exit notes as part of the legacy report that you will hand to your successor at the end of our session, Mr. Speaker, and that should be the implementation committee. Mr. Speaker, I was sad because of this petition. When the Disability Act was enacted into law in 2003, it was a great milestone to the PWDs that we have in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you read Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya, it is very clear that there should be inclusiveness, there should be non-discrimination, there should be respect to human dignity, which includes not only the able-bodied people like us, but also PWDs, the marginalized and the minority, Mr. Speaker. When this petition came, when you look at Article 54, it specifically, Mr. Speaker, provide on the issue, it is captured under the Bill of Rights. So this is a right, is not a privilege, it is a must. And therefore, when the reading of Article 54, Mr. Speaker, is very critical, that there is a deliberate effort by the government, which means, and you know, the county governments may understand that they are also a government. So when you say government, it includes both national and county governments, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, when you see PWDs in Migori County and other areas suffering because they can't access buildings, because there is no deliberate issues on educational requirement, there is no a way, Mr. Speaker, of ensuring that they get an opportunity, Mr. Speaker. When you read the reading of article, there is also dignity, there is respect, ensuring that even the public toilets, public places have that accessibility, even public transport and information, even the use of sign language, Mr. Speaker. And I don't know whether the Senate, even when we transmit our live proceedings, whether we have somebody who provides sign language, because it's part of what we should be doing, especially in respect, Mr. Speaker. Even the use of braille and other appropriate means and to access devices cheaply. Mr. Speaker, we expect the government to subsidize or to zero rate the use of braille, the hearing aids, the one called cochlear implementation so that they can assist in hearing, Mr. Speaker. We expect that the government to zero rate and ensure those devices are there. Mr. Speaker, the law is very clear when you look under Article 54 that at least there should be a deliberate 5% in the progressive implementation of 5% of members of the public in elective and appointed bodies are persons with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, in upshot, the report should have recommended that the county governments, and I don't know, Mr. Speaker, how we'll put this one to audit query, because most of the county governments appear before CPI. The question we normally ask them, Mr. Speaker, and you have a privilege of serving both as a senator, speaker, and as a governor. I hope when everybody goes back, including Bungoma, they should be in compliance with 5%, Mr. Because we only ask them, what is the ethnic composition? That's the only query. In future, Mr. Speaker, we should be asking, is there compliance of 5% if, for example, in Bungoma county government, in Nandi, in Laikipia, in Trans Nzoia? That is the question we should be asking, Mr. So that we make deliberate effort of actualizing Article 54, which forms basis of affirmative action as PWDs, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the point of CIDP and making deliberate, I think these are straightforward matters. We want to call upon the county governments when they are drafting their CIDP, they must include the marginalized, the minorities, PWDs, and the young people and women, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the last point I want to make there is the public participation, Mr. Speaker. The many cases and courts have ruled that any entity, including both public and private entities, Mr. Speaker, who do not conduct public participation, including Parliament, as provided for under Article 118, Mr. Speaker, the whole process is nullified. Even the other day, the Supreme Court and courts of Kenya nullified BBI because of one only symbol of public participation. So when Migori County government does not do public participation on the issues of BWDs and any other issues that affect counties, Mr. Speaker, they risk the process being entirely nullified. We expect them to create, I know, Mr. Speaker, you know, you go to a center, do a public palasa, ask people, everybody can listen, everybody can speak, others can hear, but there is no format that the county governments have developed to ensure that people who do not listen, people who are disabled, people who have a problem with seeing, with hearing, Mr. Speaker, have a way of doing public participation. And I think counties must be creative enough to ensure that. And I hope Senator Ketrud Musuruve is taking note of such issues, so that even as we do public participation, the way we do here in Senate, we must be in a way ensure that they feel accommodated and they have views. So anything that is done outside public participation, the Constitution is very clear. Even here in Parliament, Mr. Speaker, sometimes we publish memoranda in our national newspapers and ensure that. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of EACC and DCI to investigate, I think this is one of the radical proposals we have given as a committee, Mr. Speaker. The EACC and DCI, now this is a serious job. We don't want EACC and DCI be running around, arresting politicians, going to rallies, arresting politicians. This is now serious work and pursuing politically motivated charges. I saw yesterday, Mr. Speaker, that there was a colloquium or a meeting of prosecutors in Mombasa. And I saw the president opening, including the DPP and many other people. These prosecutors, Mr. Speaker, before they prosecute any case, they must ensure it meets a threshold. And one of the simple cases to look at is to ensure counties comply with PWDs and ensure funds that were issued in financial year 2016-2017, 2017-2018, 2018-2019. The EACC and DCI, this is a good job that they need to assist Kenyans. The last time I saw something being done in Nandi for PWDs is when they were called in the showground in Kapsabet town. They were given blankets, soda, water, and they were told to go home. So, Mr. Speaker, we must agree in a way that how do we utilize these funds? There are people who are disabled in these offices, but when you meet them, they are well-bodied people. We know, Mr. Speaker, there could be other disabilities. maybe in badminton and other things. But the point we are trying to say, Mr. Speaker, the real disability, we don't want people to be pretending that they are disabled, or, you know, in Africa there is a problem. Others are pretending to be disabled, others are pretending to be young, Mr. Speaker. We need to be told in a way that when you say disabled, what does it mean? And therefore these investigative agencies, Mr. Speaker, is very important. So in all, I want to say that this is a good report. We have done our part. We did a very thorough report. We hope this report will assist not only Migori County addressing the petitioners, but to ensure the county governors and county governments have an opportunity of looking at this thorough report, try and implement. Let us comply with 5% in terms of elective and appointive. And I want to commit, Mr. Speaker, as Kenya Kwanza takes over government, God willing, in the next 88 days or less than, we shall be able to follow up and ensure the 5% is complied. And I think our colleagues who are here, and a number of them, should ensure in the second generation of Senate, we must start a way of auditing our youth through ACPO, the issue of PWDs, the issue of gender in terms of access of tender, elective and appointive. And I think if we comply from the lowest level, that is our counties, to the national level through bottom-up approach, Mr. Speaker, we can be able to realize the gains that we have made as a nation through a progressive Constitution 2010. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. I don't see any interest. Let's go to the next order.
Order number 5, papers.
I don't see anybody from the majority side who can table. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, statements.
Senator John Kinyua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 47-1 to make a statement on an issue of general topical concern on a consideration and construction of a road access by the Kenya Urban Road Authority, KURA, to construct a road access to Membli Dekio Estate in Kiambu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, Membli Dekio Estate in Ruiru is a fast-growing, high-end suburb located in Ruiru town of Kiambu County. It borders both eastern and north bypasses and is a short distance from Kenyatta University and Tatu City. The churches located within the estate include PCA Membli Church, Committee Parish, St. Teresia Catholic Church, and Deliverance Church, Membli. In addition, there are several education institutions within the estate and include Membli High School, Montessori Christian Kindergarten, and PCA Membli School. Further, there are around 500 families that live in this estate. This is in addition to about 1,500 adults and students that visit the churches and education institutions located in the estate from other estates. Due to high vehicular traffic that is generated on a daily basis, there is need for a property junction to the estate with associated acceleration lane from the main eastern bypass and an access lamp. Mr. Speaker, sir, for months now, work on the dwelling of eastern bypass being undertaken by China Communication Construction Company has been going on. However, they are concerned by the residents of Membli Dekio Estate that certain key items were not considered during the initiation of this project, and that has affected the residents' accessibility to the estate, such as 1, proper entrances to the estate from the main carriageway, eastern bypass with associated acceleration deceleration lanes, and a lamp to the main carriageway. 2, a pedestrian footbridge across the dual carriageway. And 3, improvement of estate roads to bitumen standards, including drainage works. Mr. Speaker, sir, there is need to have pedestrian footbridge to cater for pedestrian crossing the dual carriageway to access both Membri, Githunguri and Githodwa estate on the opposite side of the road, as we have witnessed numerous traffic accidents in the recent past along this stretch of the bypass. Many pupils and guardians across this busy highway daily to access the educational institutions that are located on both sides of this road. They include Githunguri High School, Githunguri Special Unit Primary School, Githodwa Primary School and Secondary School, Membri High School, Montessori Christian Kindergarten and PCA Membri School. The road in the estate are of Maram servicing, and due to the high vehicular traffic, they are worn out and have numerous potholes. Mr. Speaker, sir, due to the high vehicular traffic leading up to the estate surrounding schools and churches, which is a risk to pedestrians, there is urgent need to consider upgrading the major estate roads to bitumen standards and construction of storm water drains. In view of the seriousness of this matter, Mr. Speaker, I would request you refer the statement to the Standing Committee on Roads and Transportation pursuant to Standing Order 473 to intervene and get special consideration from Kula towards construction of a road access and associated stormwater drains in Membri Dekio Estate. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, would you allow me to read the second?
Yeah, you can read and then...
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48.1 to seek a statement from Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding the regulation of digital credit providers in the country. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state the number of digital credit providers operating in the country, stating the terms and conditions of credit they offer. 2, state measures, if any, to protect households and MSEs from predatory lending by digital credit provider, outlining targeted interventions against fraudulent transfer of property resulting from defaulting on these loans. 3, examine the effective and enforceability of the recently enacted digital credit provider regulation 2022, which seek to curb dishonest players and not to protect customers. And 4, state the measures put in place by the Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, to mitigate financial risk exposure due to the rise in digital credit borrowing. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Samson Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank Senator Kinyua, and I'm happy, Mr. Speaker. All indications are indicating that the people of Laikipia will once more again continue to have interest to continue serving in this House. 2 quick comments, Mr. Speaker. On the first statement, I've always have an argument that Kenya Urban Road Authority, Kenya National Highway Authority, Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA, all those bodies are unconstitutional. And these people are taking advantage of the confusion within the road sector to ensure that corruption thrives. You heard yesterday I brought a statement about rehabilitation and maintenance of old Mombasa Road, that is the lower deck, over tuned to 9 billion. Mr. Speaker, we have had disorganized. When you go even to our counties, it is worse. You go into a road, you get a governor tells you this is not my road, it's for KERA. When you get KERA, they tell you this is a county government's road. There is a lot of confusion that as a country we must agree, and as a Senate, as protectors of devolution, as provided for under Article 96 of the Constitution, when we protect the interests of our counties, Mr. Speaker. The only way is to disband Kura, KERA and KENA and bring up a unified roads agency, Mr. Speaker. And let us agree that most of the roads should be devolved, especially the KERA roads, because they affect directly the mwananchi at that mashinani down there, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of Kura, under Urbans and Cities Act, Mr. Speaker, it is very clear that the management of most of the towns are run by county governments. What is hard to devolve Nairobi roads, for example, to be run by county government of Nairobi? What is hard to devolve roads in Kapsabet Town, Mosoria Township, Nandi Hills Township, Kaptumo Township, Kobuchai, Serem, and any other, including Kabiet and Chepterwai, to be managed and run by the county government of Nandi? What we need to do, Mr. Speaker, is to bite the bullet, finish these roads cartels, because, Mr. Speaker, this will continue, this confusion and ping pong will continue for the longest, Mr. Speaker. The second point I want to make is that there are so many roads in this country, Mr. Speaker, that contractors have been given notice to finish, but they don't finish in time, either because of lack of funding, and, Mr. Speaker, they stay on the road. I remember at one time, Mr. Speaker, there is no signage. When even our people are in danger, Mr. Speaker, because when roads are being constructed, the contractors must provide a well-elaborated signage and diversion roads, Mr. Speaker. Are you aware, Mr. Speaker, most contractors eat the money that is meant for diversion roads, or when they are making the roads, Mr. Speaker? Any road, go to anywhere in this country, including the one we have, Eldoret bypass in Eldoret, including the ones they're being done by Kura in this city, including the one that Senator Kinyua mentioned. Those people do not provide alternative means of roads. You pass a road in the morning, in the evening, they have blocked it, they have just written this road diversion ahead, there is no signage, and many accidents are happening because of the negligence of the contractors. But mostly, Mr. Speaker, it is because of negligence by the supervisors, and mostly Akena, Kera, and Kura. Mr. Speaker, this issue must be addressed fully, Mr. Speaker. Finally, on the second statement on credit digital lenders, I think that is a well-elaborated scheme, Mr. Speaker. Most of the Kenyans nowadays are either in CRB because of credit digital lending, Mr. Speaker. It is because of the poverty, it is because of the high cost of living, but we must be told, Mr. Speaker, who are these people that are benefiting? The government has ensured that people who run these bureaus are faceless. And I hope, I would have expected Senator Kinyua, and I think in the next, when we begin the next session, you must bring it as a petition so that we know these faceless individuals that have been licensed by the Central Bank of Kenya, that have been given licensing to do credit digital lending. Who are they? Where is the what we call deposit protection fund to ensure that if these credit lending institutions collapse, Mr. Speaker, digital, where is the recourse for our people? And those are the questions that we must query as a Senate, Mr. Speaker. And I hope the better way is to bring it as a petition so that we can get 60 days and get all the stakeholders and players within that industry so that our people, Mr. Speaker, it is only in Kenya where the people are left to the mercy of the sharks in each industry, from roads to cost of living. Mr. Speaker, you saw the other day, in fact now I was being told with the high cost of cooking oil, you might find even now the supermarket one might assign every cooking oil to be guarded by a watchman because the cost is too high, Mr. Speaker, and that forces Kenyans to go and borrow in the digital credit lending institutions, Mr. Speaker. So I hope these statements can be addressed before we go for recess and for campaigns, Mr. Speaker, so that these matters can be put to rest. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Musurve, what is it?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I would like to thank Senator Kinyua for bringing two important issues on the floor of this House. First of all, he has talked about Memble Estate, and I'm very conversant with that estate, Honorable Speaker. It's on your way to Juja, and I passed it very many years when I was a lecturer at Jomo Kenyatta University. And you could see, Honorable Speaker, that even accessing the estate itself is very difficult because there's no road that is really leading to the estate. And Honorable Speaker, most of the residents there just close their windows almost the whole day, simply because the roads are dusty. When you get inside of the, the estate, they're dusty, and we all know what can come as a result of dust. The the cold and everything. So there's need for the issue of Membley roads accessibility to be handled with speed, because it is a right for everyone to access where he stays and where he lives. And even when road companies are given the contract of coming up with roads, the access roads, whether they are Maram or what, they should ensure that they do their work up to the very end of it, because when it comes to payment, they're paid all the money. Some companies are even paid upfront, even before they finish their work. But they need to have a policy that cushion Kenyans against that, so that if a road company has been mandated to work on roads, then it should not be given all the monies. All the monies should be given at the very end. Probably just the first quarter can be given, and the other monies can be given in staggers. Honorable Speaker, Senator Kinyua has also brought in the issue of digital lending. When you open the phone, you'll find that there are so many people, organizations that lend money. Some of these are fraudsters, and there's need for Kenyans to be cushioned against fraudsters, so that people do not lose their money through fraudsters. And even those organizations that are legit, then it has to come out clearly how many digital companies do we have, and how many have been allowed to operate in this country. Honorable Speaker, they should be able to be traced, so that in the event of anything, then they can be followed, so that there's also transparency in the business that they are doing. And even if they are doing business, Honorable Speaker, even if it's digital, they have to pay tax, because they operate under zero tax, and they should not be zero rated. So those digital lenders who are lending money to Kenyans should also account to KRA, so that they are also paying tax, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, I support the statements, and I believe that these statements, even though we have very little time, will be handled in the speedy nature that they need to be handled in. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Musurve, your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to make my statement. Honorable Speaker, sorry, Honorable Speaker, for the mix-up, and thank you for the patience. Honorable Speaker, I would like to make a statement on the launch of first audit report in the Kiswahili language. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 47-1 to make a statement on a matter of general topical concern, namely the launch of the first audit report in Kiswahili language by the Office of the Auditor General. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you all know, the Office of the Auditor General is an independent office established under Article 229 of the Constitution, and Article 2296 of the Constitution requires the Auditor General to prepare an audit report to confirm whether public money has been applied lawfully and in an effective way in all entities funded by public money. Further, Article 2297 of the Constitution requires the Auditor General to submit the said reports to Parliament or the relevant county assemblies. Honorable Speaker, these reports have always been submitted to Parliament and relevant county assemblies in English, despite Article 7 of the Constitution recognizing both English and Kiswahili as the country's official languages and Kiswahili as the national language. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore quite commendable that the Office of the Auditor General has moved to fully comply with Article 7 of the Constitution with the publishing of the first audit report in Kiswahili language. The report launched yesterday in a widely publicized event beamed live on local television channels heralds a new era in the reporting of on usage of public funds in a language that is widely understood by Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, sir, Availing these reports in both English and Kiswahili will make it possible for Kenyans of all walks of life to be informed and enable them to interrogate how government entities utilize public monies at both the national and county levels of government. Mr. Speaker, sir, a majority of the population living in the counties understand their vernacular and Kiswahili more than any other language. Kiswahili is a national language, a lingua franca, and a language spoken and understood by almost all Kenyans. Translating the Auditor General reports into Kiswahili will create more awareness to Kenyans on how public funds are disbursed and utilized. Mr. Speaker, sir, the launch of the Kiswahili audit report is praiseworthy and worthy of being emulated by all public and private entities as a way of compliance with Article 43 of the Constitution, as well as ensuring inclusivity for purposes of corporate governance. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, I think that's the end of the statements. We have, using my discretion and because of the urgency of some papers, we'll go back to the order on papers so that some important papers are tabled. Clerk.
Order number 5, papers.
Senator Chararge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 19 May 2022, the county government's additional allocation cash disbursement schedule for financial year 2021-2022. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 19 May 2022. 1. The Teachers Service Commission Annual Report and the audited financial statements for the financial year 2020-2021. And second, Mr. Speaker, the National Treasury and Planning Report on all new loans contracted by the government from 1st January 2022 to 30th April 2022. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, honorable senators, for the convenience of the House, I'm deferring orders from number 8 to order number 28, then also orders number 29 to 31. So we go to order number 32, clerk.
Order number 32, motion, adoption of the report of the Sessional Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Controller of Budget Regulations 2021.
Okay, Senator Olekina had 12 minutes to go and I don't see another interest. So I also defer order number 32. Next order.
Order number 33, motion, adoption of the report of the Standing Committee on Education on the inquiry into the early childhood development education landscape in the country.
That is also deferred. Next order.
Order number 34, motion, adoption of the report of the Standing Committee on Health on the alleged negligence by the Kenyatta National Hospital in the medical case of the late Professor Ken Walibora prior to his death.
Chairperson Health, Senator Mbito.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Standing Committee on Health, which is established under Standing Order 2218-3 of the Standing Orders, and is mandated to consider all matters relating to medical services, public health and sanitation. Mr. Speaker, the late Professor Ken Walibora met his death at the Kenyatta National Hospital on the 10th of April in 2020 following a hit-and-run road traffic accident on Landis Road. According to the media reports, the deceased is said to have been hit by a bus as he attempted to escape an attack by street children. Mr. Speaker, following media reports of the alleged negligence of the late Professor Ken Walibora prior to his death at the Kenyatta National Hospital, the Standing Committee on Health invited the management of Kenyatta National Hospital to a meeting aimed at clarifying the circumstances that surrounded the late professor's death, including A, details of how and when he was brought to Kenyatta National Hospital, what time he was attended to, and what emergency interventions were undertaken on his behalf prior to his death. In addition to the meeting with the management of Kenyatta National Hospital, the committee held a consultative meeting with the Mzalendo Trust, a civil society organization that has previously conducted studies on alleged negligence of accident victims at public hospitals in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, Article 43(2) of the Constitution and Section 7(1) of the Health Act 2017 guarantees every person the right to emergency medical treatment. Section 91(b) of the Health Act further obligates all private institutions and private healthcare workers to, and I quote, provide emergency services to in their field of expertise as required or requested either by individuals, population groups, or institutions without regard to prospect or otherwise of direct financial reimbursement. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the course of its investigations, the committee found that the late Professor Ken Walibora received the necessary life-saving medical emergency interventions following his admission at the Kenyatta National Hospital, and that he accessed intensive care services at the critical care unit of the A&E department in the Kenyatta National Hospital. The committee further noted, further found that the late professor was admitted as an unknown African male, remained unidentified up to at least 3 days after his death, owing to lack of identification documents. As with accident victims with private insurance, but who lacked identification documents, had his identity card been known, he may have received a timely transfer to alternative private health facilities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee observed that whilst there was no proof of negligence by Kenyatta National Hospital prior to the death of the late Professor Ken Walibora, many victims of road accidents and violence die from lack of receiving timely life-saving medical interventions and appropriate emergency health care. The committee also found that the delayed operationalization of the Health Act 2017 and the Emergency Health Policy 2019 are a key limitation in the provision of emergency treatment. As such, the committee identified a need for a legislative framework to operationalize the provisions of Article 43(2) of the Constitution and Section 7 of the Health Act 2017, which provide for emergency treatment services. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee further observed that for the majority of victims of road accidents and violence, public hospitals are the first port of call. As such, there is a need to ensure that all public hospitals are adequately resourced and equipped in order to enable them to deal with emergencies. In relation to the above, the committee found that the referral health system in counties is under-resourced and ill-equipped. While most counties have acquired ambulances, they still lack adequate personnel, resources and equipment to provide effective emergency services. As such, there's a need to strengthen emergency referral and ICU services in county health facilities for purposes of improving access as well as easing pressure at the Kenyatta National Hospital. The committee also found that the weak pre-hospital care and poor handling of accident and violence victims prior to hospital admission is a key factor affecting the survival of severely injured victims. Mr. Speaker, sir, based on the foregoing, the committee recommends that the Senate intervene to provide a conditional grant to counties for purposes of strengthening the provision of emergency and critical care services. The committee further recommends that a mechanism be sought to link civil registration services to emergency health services for purposes of facilitating prompt identification of unknown accident victims. In addition, the committee recommends that the Office of the Auditor General conduct a performance audit of the provision of ambulance, emergency and ICU services in the counties pursuant to Section 36(1) of the Public Audit Act 2015 and report back to the House within a period of 6 months. Mr. Speaker, sir, in respect of the general state of the emergency care and treatment in Kenya, the committee recommends that the Ministry of Health expedites the passage and publication of the Emergency Medical Policy 2020 to 2030, the Emergency Medical Care Strategic Plan 2020-2025, and the Emergency Medical Care Regulations in accordance with Section 15 and 112 of the Health Act, respectively. The committee further recommends
eviction of workers from their land in Roysambu by KDF.
This is by the Chairperson Committee on Implementation.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopt the report of the Committee on Implementation on its consideration of the implementation status of the following matters. 1, the report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on a petition on irregular renewal of leases of land by Del Monte Kenya Limited, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021. And 2, the report of the Committee on Lands, let me repeat, the report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on its consideration of the petition by former workers of the late Mayor Jacob Samuel regarding the invasion and eviction of the workers from their land in Roysambu constituency by the Kenya Defence Forces, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021. Honorable Speaker, the Committee of Implementation is the committee that's there to ensure that Parliament does not act in vain. And those powers are actually provided for under Standing Order 209 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, and also buttressed by Standing Order 201 and Article 153, Sub-Article 4B of the Constitution of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the said mandate, the committee resolved to be apprised on the implementation status of the recommendations contained in the aforementioned report. Honorable Speaker, just to give a background, the petition was made by Philip Njogona on behalf of the Kandara Residents Association regarding regular renewal of leases by the Del Monte Kenya Limited. and it was presented to the House on the 11th of June 2019. The petitioners claim to be the original owners of the land presently occupied by Del Monte Kenya Limited, but were illegally displaced and the land leased to the company. They were aggrieved that the county government of Murang'a had renewed the leases for the company without first involving the public as required by Section 13 of the Land Act 2012. They also claimed that the county government disregarded the determination of the National Land Commission rendered on February 7, 2019 in the historical injustice claim filed with the Commission. So, Honorable Speaker, this is about historical land injustices. Honorable Speaker, in a Gazette Notice number 1995 for 2019, the National Land Commission directed that the land held by Del Monte Kenya Limited should be resurveyed to establish if the company owned land that it is not registered to have. The surplus land, if any, was to be surrendered to the Qatar Residents Association and the county government for a public purpose in the ratio of 70-30 respectively. Honorable Speaker, where no surplus land was found, the county government of Murang'a should retain adequate land for the settlement of the claimants and for public purposes upon expiry of the leases. The Commission also directed that Del Monte Kenya Limited should surrender all public utilities within the land in question to the relevant national and county government agencies, whether the leases have expired or not. Honorable Speaker, the Departmental Committee on Lands in its report tabled on 21st December 2019 recommended that the Director of Survey, Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning resurvey the land held by Del Monte Kenya Limited in Murang'a and Kiambu counties. The committee also recommended that the National Land Commission does investigate the circumstances under which LR numbers 10862, 10741, 11312, 2953, 4873, and 11146 that were said to have been surrendered to the government by Sasa Coffee and Rapid B were regularly acquired by Del Monte Kenya Limited. Honorable Speaker, the Select Committee on Implementation commenced to apprise itself on the implementation status of the matter and invited the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning and the Chairperson of the National Land Commission to a meeting on 27 October 2020 and 14 April 2021 and 29 July 2021, respectively. The committee also received written submissions by the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning on the 2nd of August 2021. Kandara Residents Association also made a written submission on the 7th of October 2021. Honorable Speaker, to give the implementation status of the recommendations, one, on recommendation 1 was actually that on the recommendation that the Director of Survey, Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning does resurvey the land held by the Del Monte Kenya Limited in Murang'a and Kiambu counties, the committee notes that this has been implemented. However, the committee was not satisfied with the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning submission that Del Monte Kenya Limited does not hold excess land. On the recommendation that the National Land Commission investigates the circumstances under which LR numbers 10862, 10741, 11312, 2953, 4873, and 11146 that were said to have been surrendered to the government by two companies, namely Sasa Coffee and Rapid B Limited, were later regularly acquired by Del Monte Limited. The committee notes that this has not been done as the Ministry of Lands and NLC submitted that due to passage of time it had not been able to unearth how the company acquired the land. The committee notes that there are no sufficient records on how the transfer of land to Del Monte Kenya Limited 1973 was carried out. The committee therefore notes that the land ought to be public land. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the said observation, the committee, following the observations made after deliberations and the implementation status, makes the following recommendations. That the lease for LR number 12153, which resulted from the amalgamation of the LR numbers already alluded to, which measures up to 7,407 acres, which is 2,963.1 hectares, should be reverted to the government of Kenya and declared as public land and allocated to Kandara Residents Association for the settlement within 60 days of the report, which should have been actually carried out by now, and this should be done immediately after adoption of this report, failure to which the committee shall enforce appropriate sanctions pursuant to Standing Order 2093 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. 2, In consultation with the National Land Commission, the Ministry of Lands and Fiscal Planning should allocate the land exercised from the Del Monte Limited to Kantara Residents Association and county governments of Moranga and Kiambu in the ratio of 70-30, respectively, as per the National Land Commission's Gazette Notice 1995 of 2019, within 60 days of the adoption of this report. Failure to which the committee shall enforce appropriate sanctions pursuant to Standing Order 2193 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. Honorable Speaker, this being a historical land justice matter, I think this is something that should be pursued relentlessly, so that the land can revert to the original and real owners. Honorable Speaker, on the other matter, that the implementation status of the report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on its consideration of the petition by former workers of the late Jacob Mayor Samuels regarding the invasion and eviction of workers from their land in the Roysambu constituency by the Kenya Defence Forces. Honorable Speaker, to also give a brief background on this matter, the petition by former workers of the late Mayor Jacob Samuels regarding invasion and eviction from the land by the Kenya Defence Forces was presented to the House on the 27th of June 2019. The petitioners claimed that they were former workers of the late Mayor Jacob Samuels employed in his sisal processing farm and workshop industry on LR number 5878/2 before his death in 1974. They claimed that the deceased family allowed them to continue staying on the land after they could not pay their salaries. According to the Ministry of Lands, LR number 5875/2, the land in dispute was compulsorily acquired by the Commission of Lands via Gazette Notices number 5151 and 5152 of 1985, pursuant to a request by the then Permanent Secretary in charge of the Department of Defense in the Office of the President. The National Land Commission's position is to the effect that the Department of Defense acquired land which was at 1999 lease in 1986, and that the lease was to expire in 2005. Solio Construction Company Limited, which sold land to Kasarani Mall Limited, was allocated LR number 5875/2 on the 1st of July 1999, and the allocation was done when another lease was subsisting, which actually brought the issue of double allocation. Honorable Speaker, further, during deliberations of the matter by the Departmental Committee on Lands, the committee had that investigation by the National Land Commission showed that Solio Construction Limited had two sets of titles for the same property. The first was registered on 18 May 1992 with different LR numbers, while the second set was a title registered on 20th January 2001. Additionally, it also emerged that the transfer form that was used to transfer parcel of land LR number 5875/2 was fraudulent, as the officer who was purported to have signed the document appearing before the Departmental Committee on Lands disowned the document and claimed that that land was actually not validly owned, as it was actually a forgery. Honorable Speaker, the Departmental Committee on Lands tabled its report on 5th December 2019 and made the following recommendation: that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning, in consultation with the National Land Commission and the Nairobi County Government, does complete the titling process of LR number 5875/2 within 180 days of the tabling of the report. This was actually for the benefit of the people who were left on the farm by Samuels. 2, the Director of Criminal Investigation does investigate the officers in the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning who may have caused loss of public funds by effecting fraudulent transactions relating to LR number 5875/2, and the Director of Public Prosecution does prosecute any person found culpable within 90 days of tabling of the report, and that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning does secure the title relating to LR number 23393 with a view of ensuring that innocent Kenyans do not lose money through fraudulent transactions as evidenced by the attempt to amalgamate LR number 5875/2. Honorable Speaker, in following on the implementation status of the above recommendations, the committee held numerous meetings with the Cabinet Secretary and other officials of the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning and officials of the National Land Commission. The committee notes that the House had directed that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning, in consultation with the National Land Commission and the Nairobi County Government, does complete the titling process of LR number 5875/2 within 180 days of the tabling of the report. This is yet to be implemented over 2 years later. There's an unnecessary delay, which is actually causing a lot of hardship to people who are supposed to benefit from this report of Parliament. Honorable Speaker, on the implementation status, as regards the recommendation that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning, in consultation with the National Commission and the Nairobi County Government, does complete the titling process for LR number 5875/2 within 180 days of tabling of the report, the committee notes that this has not been implemented. The Cabinet Secretary submitted that this resolution could not be implemented due to the advisory by the Honorable Attorney General, via letter reference number AG/CIV/47/20, dated 11th August 2020 to the National Assembly, indicating that the land parcel number LR number 5872 belongs to the National Defence Forces. As regards the recommendation that the Director for Criminal Investigations does investigate the officers in the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning who may have caused loss of public funds by effecting fraudulent transactions relating to LR number 5875/2, and the Director of Public Prosecution does prosecute any person found culpable within 90 days of tabling of the report. The committee is yet to receive a report from the Director of Criminal Investigation. So nothing has been done, which is actually also causing further hardship to the beneficiaries to that land. As regards the recommendation that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning does secure the titling to LR number 23393 with a view of ensuring that innocent Kenyans do not lose money through fraudulent transaction, as evidenced by the attempt to amalgamate it with LR number 5875/2, the committee notes that LR number 23393 is registered in favor of Kasarani Mall Limited. The parcel is adjacent to LR number 5875/2 and it's not in contention within that application by Kasarani Mall Limited for amalgamation of the two properties was never finalized. This recommendation has therefore been implemented. Honorable Speaker, the committee, following the observations made after deliberation on the implementation status, makes the following recommendation. 1, that the House should initiate the process of removal of the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Lands, Physical Planning for failure to implement the House resolution that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning, in consultation with the National Commission and the Nairobi County Government, does complete the titling process for LR number 5875 within 180 days of tabling of the report, pursuant to Article 152(6) of the Constitution of Kenya and Standing Order 66 of the National Assembly Standing Order. Honorable Speaker, the Inspector General of Police should ensure that the Directorate for Criminal Investigation does investigate the officers in the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning who may have caused loss of public funds by effecting fraudulent transactions relating to LR number 5875/2 and submit a report to the National Assembly within 60 days of the adoption of this report. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important report. It actually shows how the ordinary Kenyans are oppressed and how their rights have been tumbled on, and the historical injustices are still continuing. And this for this House to ensure that this is stopped forthwith and that the people concerned benefit from what Parliament has given them. Honorable Speaker, I therefore beg to move and urge the House to adopt this report, and now request the Honorable Peter Kihara, MP, to second. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Peter Kihara, the MP, Matthew, for seconding.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to second and wish to state that, Honorable Speaker, I think these are fairly straightforward matters, and the Chair Committee of Implementation has put a very, very weighty case. These are weighty matters regarding lands and for which ordinary Kenyans have actually been defrauded their lands. Honorable Speaker, these are matters that had already been investigated by Committee of Lands, and for their recommendations brought to this House and adopted by this House. And the findings of the Implementation Committee at this stage is that despite being over 1 year, having been brought to this House almost a year ago, to date, that those recommendations by our Lands Committee have not been implemented. Largely, almost 99% have not been implemented at all. This obviously shows that there are officers in government who do not take seriously issues that have been passed by this House. For instance, if you look, even the issue of the land, the Del Monte land, even the National Lands Commission had even gazetted and issued a gazette notice, 1995 of 2019, to the effect that the land should be excised and allocated from Del Monte and allocated to Kandara Residents Association, the county government of Murang'a and the county government of Kiambu, and even went ahead and gave the ratio within which those the land so adjudicated should be excise should be shared, 70-30 at the ratio of 70-30. To date, that has not been done. This has fully been ignored. If you go to the other issue, where innocent Kenyans in the Maya Jacob's land, where he bequeathed his land to his own employees following his demise. To date, others have gone ahead to try and defraud innocent Kenyans of that piece of land and leaving them helpless. Honorable Speaker, I think I support the chair of the implementation committee and I request that this House do adopt this report and that we be able to move these matters to the next level. If these matters are not taken seriously and in a weighty manner, the recommendations of our committees will continue to be ignored by those in authority or in those in various ministries. Honorable Speaker, I pray, it's my prayer that this will be moved to the next level and that this House will adapt this report, because we are just following we just went ahead to look at and see whether the recommendations have been adopted. We need to ensure that government can work harmoniously and that innocent Kenyans don't lose. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second.
You second. Very well. Let me give you a chance to resume your seat, whoever. Thank you, honorable members. I propose the question, which that this House adopts the report of the Select Committee on Implementation on its consideration of the implementation status of the following matters. 1, the report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on a petition on irregular renewal of leases of land by the Del Monte Kenya Limited, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021. And 2, the report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on its consideration of the petition by former workers of the late Mayor Jacob Samuel regarding the invasion and eviction of the workers from their land in Roysambu constituency by the Kenya Defence Forces, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021. I see a request to speak to the motion by the Honourable Member for Kitui South, the Honourable Nyamai Rachel.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me a chance to also make a contribution to this motion on implementation status of these two reports on the Departmental Committee on Lands, which are the report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on a petition on irregular renewal of leases of land by Del Monte Kenya Limited, and 2, the report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on its consideration of the petition by the former workers of the late Mayor Jacobs Samuels regarding invasion and eviction of the workers from their land in Roysambu constituency by KDF. Honorable Speaker, I must start by thanking the Departmental Committee on Implementation that they have followed on these reports to ensure implementation. Honorable Speaker, these two reports were tabled in this House on the 21st of November 2019 and on the 5th of December 2019 respectively. Honorable Speaker, I've had a chance to go through the two reports on implementation and I must first commend the committee on implementation for doing a good job and ensuring that we do not pass resolutions in vain. Honorable Speaker, before I continue, I would also like to say that as a House and also as the Departmental Committee on Lands, we value the importance of Del Monte in this country, their contribution to employment in this country, their contribution to revenue collection for this country. So as we considered these two reports, we knew the kind of institution that we were dealing with, and I believe that it's the same consideration that has been done by the Departmental Committee on Implementation. Honorable Speaker, kindly allow me to refer to the recommendations of the Committee on Implementation on 2 issues. Honorable Speaker, first, in our report on implementation on irregular renewal of leases of land by Del Monte Kenya Limited, we had made 2 recommendations. Being, 1, the Director of Survey, Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning, does resurvey the land held by Del Monte Limited in Oranga and Kiambu counties. On this recommendation, Madam Speaker, the Committee on Implementation notes that this has been done and that they are satisfied and happy as a committee. We are also satisfied as a committee that our recommendation was fully implemented. Honorable Speaker, our second recommendation was that National Land Commission investigates the circumstances under which LR number 10862, 10741, 11312, 2953, 4872, and 11148 were said to have been surrendered to government by 2 companies, namely Sasa Coffee and Rapid B Limited, were irregularly acquired by Del Monte. Honorable Speaker, I note that the Committee on Implementation notes that this has not been done, and it further recommends that LR number 12158, which resulted from amalgamation of LR number 10741, 10862, 10741, 11312, 2952 should be reverted to Government of Kenya as public land, and that the land should be allocated to residents of Kandara Association. Further, the Committee on Implementation recommends that the land excised from Del Monte should be allocated to Kandara residents and the county government of Moranga and Kiambu. Honorable Speaker, our committee did actually mention this, and I can see that the Departmental Committee on Implementation also agrees with us. Honorable Speaker, the matter of the ratio, I believe that it does not belong to this House, but this does not make me, as the member for Kitui South or as the chair, disagree with this report. Honorable Speaker, I would like to go straight to a very important matter, because I can see that my time is up, to the matter of Mayor Jacobs, to the matter of the petition by former workers of Mayor Jacobs Samuels regarding invasion and eviction of the workers. Honorable Speaker, here is where the Departmental Committee on Implementation raises a very sensitive recommendation on removal of a cabinet secretary. Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that as much as I agree with the report, I would like to request them to expunge this part, because it is unnecessary and it is bringing a different issue on a matter of implementation of a report. Honorable Speaker, the circumstances under which a cabinet secretary can be removed are clearly stated, and the reason as to why the cabinet secretary for the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning did not implement is because of
Yes. To give us the reason.
Thank you. Thank you very much for engaging me, Honorable Speaker. I would like to say that the circumstances for which a cabinet secretary can be removed are clearly stated, Honorable Speaker. One of them is gross violation of the Constitution or any other law. 2, where there are serious reasons for believing that the cabinet secretary has committed crime under national or international law. 3, for gross misconduct. Honorable Speaker, Article 152 of the Constitution does not provide for the removal of a cabinet secretary on grounds that the cabinet secretary has followed the advice of the Attorney General. Honorable Speaker, consequently, I would like to request that this is expunged from this report. With that, Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that I agree with the report. However, I do not agree with their recommendation in paragraph 71. Honorable Speaker, I support, and I would like to request the chair that he either moves amendment or we can move an amendment to expunge paragraph 71, which states removal of a cabinet secretary. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much for indulging me.
Very well. For the leader of majority, you want to say something on this?
Not quite.
Very well. With that, is for the request made by the Honorable Member for Kitui. Of course, you know the process, unless it comes from the chairperson himself. As a matter of procedure, must be very procedural. Yes, let us have. Kimani had already spoken to this. Kimani had already spoken to motion number 11. Because to change a report, it has to be procedurally done. If the member wants to make a contribution of this, there's, yeah, yes, the Honorable.
I would like maybe if
These machines. Yes, Honorable Member.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I think I heard my colleague talk about it. We had actually discussed it. But you know, we are not saying about the removal. I think there is something that must be understood. This is actually provided for under Standing Order 209(3), which provides that the committee may propose to the House sanctions against any cabinet secretary who fails to report to the relevant select committee on implementation status without justifiable reasons. What we are saying is that Parliament gave resolved. Actually, these beneficiaries of this land of Samuels had actually gone to the extent of paying for their titles. But continuously and successfully, on several occasions, the CS has actually refused or neglected to carry out the resolution of Parliament. So it's for us to recommend to the House, it's for the House to either accept our proposal or accept it. It's not final on our part, but we are just recommending, and I think our recommendation is not really binding as such. So the House can agree with us or not agree with us.
So you are leaving it for the House to approve.
It's already
Honorable, yes, but Honorable, since you are just replying the member, the Honorable Member for Kitui South, we usually request for an amendment, and as a matter of procedure, the amendment is debated, it's either carried or not carried, and then before we come to the main, that is the procedure. That is the procedure. There is an intervention by the leader majority. Yes, Millie Odhiambo, member for Suba North. Yes, the member for Suba North. The Honorable Millie Accord.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think we are raising very significant issues and we don't have quorum. Thank you.
Yes, very well, Honorable Millie Odhiambo has rose on the quorum issue. And yes, I confirm that we are not quorated, and I do order that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes.
So then I can just do it on the other paper. Kijana. No, notice of motion. Yeah. Itakuwa kwa order paper. Then to be letter. Now as I contribute, I will also bring it. Otherwise, sasa tukimaliza hapa, Mungu to reply. So we can go and rest. Yes. So wengine walienda mbele yetu. Wengine wameenda. No, did move a motion to? No. It didn't. It was only. No, but it didn't have any morning. 24. and deal with you.
I got a bit late.
Yeah. So until, in fact, the only things that are the best ones, the ones we clear, and children we finish the best ones.
So what about this one?
No, we not have done something.
So technically, what of us?
Order members. Order. Honorable Millie. Order members, you have not been able to get sufficient quorum for us to continue the business of the day, and the time being 4:43 p.m. This House stands adjourned until the Tuesday 24th May 2022 at 2:30 p.m. I thank you all.
Tell me, why on earth did you and Giselle encourage Shannon to slander Jack? What on earth are you up to?
Pinky is always so considerate. I've been looking back on the past. I ruined Pinky's marriage. I feel so guilty about it.
I never wanted to hurt you. But I didn't expect I'd still hurt you in the end.
In order to win you over, I did so many things to hurt Pinky. I feel extremely guilty.
Heshima gani? Ni fedhuli huyu kama nini huyu?
Sitaki uadui ndani ya hii nyumba yangu.
Mimi simpendi Safari. Kama yeye yafikiria hivyo ni yeye.
Sitaki kukuona hapa kabisa.
Utaki kumwona hapa ndo umemleta?
Nishakwambia Zari hayuko, mwanao hayuko. What do you want?
Tusigombane kwa maneno ambayo hayana msingi. Mimi sijakuletea bahasha wala sijakuandikia chochote.
Do you hear me? Your presence.
I'm not going to give you up, Paulina. Because I'm sure Adrian will not be part of your life again, and this will be a new opportunity for me. I'll do everything possible to win you back.
Nikiuliza hii koti uvae t-shirt alafu tolewe tena. Unaweza kubali?
Mama.
Yes.
Wakati mimi ilikuja ikatoa wewe nguo, unasema ikatoa wewe nguo ikararuia wewe. Uliona mimi?
Mwiniona tena mbeleni.
Sijawahi kuona tena mbeleni lakini
hujawahi. Ngoja, hujawahi, si ndio?
Bibi ya Wasfarat.
Sasa hiyo ni nini?
Wasfarat ni nini?
Sasa wewe unatolewa nguo gani na orende yako ni suka? Si ninasika tu saindi moja nasunguka hivi nguo yote inatoka.
Ni nani ametuma mimi kurarua hiyo Foster?
Ni senator wako.
Ene Kamen. Ni nani amefua watu nguo?
Ni senator wako.
Ni nani yuko na makosa?
Ni senator wako.
Ni nani atashitakiwa?
Ni senator wako.
Galloping Galaxies. I hope you can join us today. We spent the morning playing games. But when everyone else wanted to stop, Max wasn't happy about it. In fact, she was so unhappy, she got a bad case of the grumpies. What are the grumpies? Stay with us and you'll find out. I just hope we can find the right way to help Max. So come on, our story's about to start.
Here comes Dooley from a planet far away. His home was way up in the sky where Dooley used to play. He's come from far beyond the stars to make some brand new friends. So now it's time to learn and play with Dooley and pals. Dooley, Dooley, Dooley and pals. Yay, Dooley! He made a friend out of you and me. Dooley and pals. My buddy is an alien, he plays with us all day. And if you ask him who he is, this is what he'll say. I win. Come on, Chris, your turn. Stand back. Here comes Champ. My buddy is an alien, he plays with us all day. And if you ask him who he is, this is what he'll say. I truly dooley like you, I truly dooley do. And if you truly dooley want, then I'll play with you. Yes! Nice going, buddy. That was cool. Hey, you wanna go see if Michael's home? Sure, let's go. I brought that book I was telling you about. You wanna look at it now? No, I wanna play slide again. I was just getting warmed up. Later, Max. Chris and I are going to Michael's house. Come on, Nick, one more game. Sorry, Max, we're out of here. See ya. No, stop, just wait a minute. Max?
What's throwing fun? What's going on?
Nobody's going anywhere until I play another game of slide. What? Max.
we blab his. We have this on our planet too.
That's right. On our planet, Max has what we call a bad case of the grumpies.
Grumpies?
Yes. Shh. The grumpies. And the grumpies can spread.
We can catch the grumpies? Kinda like a cold?
Not exactly. But on our planet, the grumpies are a feeling, not a disease. But feelings can spread from one person to another.
That's right. And the grumpies can squeak and sneak up on you.
Sometimes when I'm hungry and I need a snack, or when I wake up too soon from my nap.
And sometimes for no reason I just feel bad, and nothing you can do will make me glad.
I got the grumpies, please don't ask me to smile. I got the grumpies, maybe I'll feel better in a little while. Some days I just want to have my way, and Mom says no instead of okay. Well, I know I shouldn't, but I get a little blue, 'cause when you got the grumpies, what can you do? I got the grumpies, please don't ask me to smile. I got the grumpies, maybe I'll feel better in a little while. I got the grumpies, please don't ask me to smile. I got the grumpies,
Maybe I'll feel better
in a little while. Now I feel better, aren't you glad?
It's much more fun than